Hello, everyone. Today we're diving into 5 game-changing battles that shaped the world as we know it. These aren't just wars. They were decisions, moments of genius, and turning points that altered the course of history forever. From Alexander the Great's victory at Gaugamela to the surprising American victory at Saratoga, these battles weren't about armies. They were about fate. What if Alexander had lost? Or Charles Martel failed at Tours? What if the Normans had been stopped at Hastings? Let's explore how these monumental moments changed everything. The Battle of Gaugamela, 331 BC. Let's start with Gaugamela in 331 BC. Picture this. Alexander the Great, leading a Macedonian army that's outnumbered by Darius III's Persian Empire. Despite the disparity, Alexander's military genius would turn the tide. The Persians, with their massive army, seemed unbeatable. But Alexander had innovation on his side. When the battle started, it seemed like the Persians were winning. But Alexander saw a gap in their lines, an opening few would have noticed in the chaos. He led his elite cavalry straight for Darius himself. The Persian king, seeing his forces collapse, fled, and the battle was over. This wasn't just about strength. It was about timing and decisiveness. This victory marked the fall of the Persian Empire and the beginning of Alexander's journey to create one of the largest empires in history. His tactical brilliance at Gaugamela reshaped the future of the ancient world. The Battle of Tours, 732 AD. Fast forward to 732 AD, where Charles Martel, the Frankish leader, faced the advancing Umayyad Caliphate. This battle took place in France, and its stakes were high. The future of Western Europe was on the line. The Muslim forces, led by Abdul Rahman al-Ghafiqi, had been sweeping through Europe, and their advance into France seemed unstoppable. Charles Martel had a smaller army, but he wasn't afraid to use defensive tactics. He formed a shield wall, holding firm against the Muslim cavalry's charges. The key moment came when Martel counterattacked after withholding his forces, catching the invaders off guard. The Muslims, shocked by the reversal, began to retreat, and the battle ended in a stunning Frankish victory. This battle wasn't just about military tactics. It was about preserving the Christian identity of Europe and stopping the spread of Islam into the heart of Western civilization. Had Martel lost, Europe's cultural and religious landscape could have been drastically different. His victory ensured the survival of Christian Europe for centuries to come. The Battle of Hastings, 1066 AD. Now, let's head to England in 1066 AD, a year that would change the course of its history forever. William the Conqueror, Duke of Normandy, claimed the English throne after King Edward the Confessor's death, but King Harold II had already been crowned. So, they met on the fields of Hastings to decide who would rule. The battle was intense, but the Normans had a secret weapon: deception. At one point, William feigned a retreat, tricking the English into chasing them down the hill. When the English broke their formation, the Normans counterattacked, catching them off guard. The result? Harold's death, the end of the Anglo-Saxon era, and the beginning of Norman rule in England. This battle reshaped English society. Feudalism was introduced, and the Norman language influenced the English language for generations. England went from a unified Anglo-Saxon kingdom to a land ruled by Norman lords, with lasting cultural, legal, and political changes that would define the country for centuries. The Battle of Sekigahara, 1600 AD. Now, let's travel east to Japan in 1600 AD, a country fractured by years of civil war. The Battle of Sekigahara would decide Japan's fate. On one side, we have Tokugawa Ieyasu, a former ally of many feudal lords, including Ishida Mitsunari. The other side, led by Mitsunari, wanted to maintain control over Japan. The battle was not just about tactics, it was about betrayal. During the fight, key generals on Ieyasu's side switched allegiances, handing the victory to Tokugawa. Ieyasu's forces were able to outmaneuver their opponents and secure a decisive victory. Tokugawa's win at Sekigahara led to the establishment of the Tokugawa shogunate, which would rule Japan for over 250 years. This was a time of peace and stability, but also of isolation from the rest of the world, shaping Japan's future in ways no one could have predicted. The Battle of Saratoga, 1777 AD. Finally, we come to 1777, when the American colonies were struggling to break free from British rule. They targeted British officers and disrupted their supply lines, forcing Burgoyne into a vulnerable position. The American victory at Saratoga was crucial. It convinced France to openly ally with the colonies, providing the crucial support needed to tip the scales in favor of the revolution. Without French assistance, the Americans might not have won their independence. Saratoga proved to the world that the American cause was viable, forever altering the course of history. These battles weren't just about soldiers clashing on a field. They were about decisions that shaped entire nations and cultures, whether it was Alexander's brilliance, Martel's defense of Europe, or Tokugawa's political maneuvers. Each of these battles proves that history can change in an instant. So, what's your take? How would you have fared in these pivotal moments? One thing is clear: every battle, Every decision changes the course of history. If you enjoyed this journey through time, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into history's most defining moments. Thanks for watching.